Hello class, we are back with the remaining portion of what was left with relational algebra in the previous online session. So just before going further, I'll just brief it what we are covered in the previous class. We started with the next model, that is relational algebra and relational models, where we cover the concepts of relational model concepts, constraints, database design, and all this were there. So in the previous class we covered about what is domain, attribute, tuple, relation. Just to give a brief overview about that, domain is nothing but the atomic values what we give for the attributes. Attribute naming conventions, tuples are nothing but the rows, relation is nothing but the table, and all this we had studied in the previous class. The informal terms, the characteristics, which was very important, we studied. The constraints, let's read out. We studied that different types of constraints are key constraint, entity integrity, referential integrity, and there was something known as domain constraint. Key constraint means no two tuples key attribute should have the same value. If I get that, we call it as a key constraint. Entity integrity, if any attribute is named as a key attribute, its value cannot be a null. Referential integrity, primary key of one table should refer to the other table. If that value is missing, we get it as referential integrity constraint. This was what we studied in the previous class. Yeah, the insert operation, delete, the various anomalies what we get. Now let's begin with what I mean by relational algebra, the remaining portion, right? So relational algebra is nothing but a language which we can ask questions to a database, right? It's a language. I'm talking about a language in which we can ask questions or queries to a database. So basic premise is that we have tables and sets, and we use mathematical model to ask question to the database. That is, so our query language should be manipulated sets with ease. So when you are asking a question to a database, we should ask in such a way that your database should give you the correct answer for you. So the traditional operations what we use for mathematical modeling are, remember in SQL I had told we query the actual database where actually we are working onto it. But relational algebra is not so, where you are working on a piece of paper to get the output. So for that, the various operations we use is union, intersection, Cartesian product, select, project, join, and division. Okay. So we'll study one by one what they mean. So there is something known as a unary relational operation, right? Like what we studied in SQL. I'll take the example of SQL only because we are well familiar with SQL terms. So let's go with that basic itself. So select operation. Okay. So assume that this is the table with some attributes in it. I'll say USN, name, and department. Just an assumption. It has USN 01, 02. I'll take just two examples, Amit and Dilip. Department is CS, he is from EC department. Okay. So what is the select operation? As we said in SQL, if at all you want to get the details of an entire person, or if at all you want to fetch a tuple, a row, then whenever you want to fetch a row, we had select operator, right? For example, I want to select or display the details who belongs to CS. Just see here, I want to display the details of the students who belong to CSC. If I am writing a SQL query, how would it be? We have the concept known as select from where clause. Remember, this is what happens in SQL. Select from where clause, where select will select the attributes which I want. Right? So select will select which all attributes you want. So in short, now I want all the attributes. So select, which is the wildcard for all attributes. Yeah. Star from indicates from which table. Assume that the table name is student. So from student. Where is an optional, which is a condition which you give. So for example, if I am talking about students from CS department, so their condition should be written in the where clause, where the attribute name is DEPT equal to, in single quotes, CS. This is how I write the SQL query. Remember? So whenever you want to fetch the entire row from a table, we write the query like that. Select star from student where department equal to CS. Same way it works in relational algebra also. For example, if at all you want to select the rows from a table, we use the select operator. Now here select operator is nothing but we call it as a sigma. We call it as a sigma operator. So sigma operator is denotes as a select, which means that you are selecting some rows from the table. The select operator condition acts as a filter. Keeps only those tuples that satisfy the qualifying condition. That means from a table, as I said, where I mentioned department equal to CS, so it will give me the output where whosoever department is CS and whosoever belongs to other department are removed off. Same thing works here also. So select will select only those rows. It acts as a filter. That means it selects only those rows where the condition is satisfied and ignores or removes those rows where the condition is not satisfied. That is what it says here. Keeps only those tuples that satisfy the qualifying condition. So whichever the condition is satisfied, it keeps only those. Tuples satisfying the conditions are selected, whereas the tuples which whether the condition is not selected are discarded or filtered out. Right? So see the example. They have taken this. I'll write the same here itself. Assume that this is a table. We'll work with the same example here. They are talking about employee. So I'll just say employee number, employee name, his department number, department NO. Again, I'll just write employee number as 01, name Amit, department number as 5, department number as 6. Assume that this table name is employee, right? We'll work with SQL in hand so that you'll understand. Table name is employee. So in relational algebra, table is called as a relation. Yes? So for example, if I want to fetch the details of the employee who works for department number 5, department number 5. So what am I targeting here? The rows, right? So how would my SQL query be? Select. I'm selecting the entire row. So the wildcard is star. Select star from which table? Employee. Where the condition is DPT NO equal to 5. This is how I write the SQL query to fetch the rows from a table. The same thing should be written in relational algebra now. So to do that, relational algebra comes across with a notation called as unary select operation. Select operation selects the rows from a table. So if that is a table, and for example I want to select the employee tuples, that is row, whose department number is 4. So how the condition would work? It is very simple compared to SQL. So when I write this notation, select sigma, which means that you are selecting some rows from the table. Select followed by the relation name. Now here the relation name is, or the table name is employee. So how it works? Select all the rows from employee. Again, as I said, since your where is optional, the condition is optional here. So this will select all the rows from the relation employee. If at all you want only specific, as it is mentioned here, employee who belongs to department number 4. So how can I write? Whichever is the condition should be written in the condition clause here. So select from the employee table whose department number is 4. Same thing as I wrote here, SQL query here. The SQL query. Select star from employee where department number equal to 4. So this will select the entire row who belongs to department number 4. This is how I write in SQL. But the same thing can be written in relational algebra with the notations now. Since we are working with relational, we work with mathematical modeling. So how it can be written? The select operator, the condition followed by the relation name. So select, this is how it is explained here. See. Select all the rows from the table employee who belongs to department number 4. This is how I write the select operator. Okay. Same thing now. Same like how I said about the aggregate functions, the operators, everything works same here, hand in hand. So same thing. I want to select the employees whose salary is greater than 30,000. Then how would I write? Select. Because they are talking about selecting rows. Select from the employee where salary is nothing but the attribute name. Where a salary attribute is greater than 30,000. So what it does? It goes to the table. Whoever salary is more than 30,000 is fetched and displayed you on the screen. So this is just similar to like what we write in SQL. Is this clear? Select. Please remember only one word. Whenever you are selecting some rows, we use the keyword select. Then what is the next? Project. This is what it is told here. See, the general syntax. The general syntax where we have sigma. This is what I guess I went here. I'll just show it to you. Okay. This is the general syntax. Sigma, the selection condition and the table name where the symbol sigma indicates is used to denote the rows. Select. The selection condition is optional, which can be any Boolean condition like equal to, greater than, less than, not equal to, and, or, not, any Boolean condition. So this condition has any Boolean condition, tuples that make the condition true. So whichever rows this condition is true, only those rows are fetched and displayed for me, rest all are ruled out. So this is the syntax or discarded. Select, condition and rows. Then what is a project? If at all you want to select rows, we use the keyword select. If at all you want to read the columns, then we can use the keyword project. Now see here again, the same table. I'll take an example. Now I have department number, I have one more column. I'll say salary. He has salary of 50,000. He has salary of 40,000. Assume that there is a relation or table employee which has 4 attributes. Employee number, employee name, department number and salary. So me being at that higher level, HR level, I am not interested in all these attributes. I want only from the table, I want who is the employee and how much salary he is withdrawing. I am not interested in which department he works. So assume that if there is a table with 15, 16 attributes, I am not interested in all the attributes. Maybe I want only interested in only few of the attributes. That means from a given table, if I want to fetch only few attributes, I can specify them separately also. Right? So this is how a project works also. So see here, for example, in this table, I want to display only employee name and salary. So how would my SQL query be? Yes, select. Now star will select all the attributes. Now I don't want all the attributes. I want only few attributes, which is name and salary. So select name, comma salary from employee. So what does this do is, from a table employee, it ignores all the other attributes and select only those attributes which are mentioned here. So select employee name and salary, and this employee number, department are waived off. Similarly, in relational algebra, when you are only interested in to display few of the column values, or when you want to select few column values, we always go with the project operation. Select operation selects the rows, project operation selects the columns. That's it. So how the project works? The project option is denoted by pi. So for example, same thing if I want to go, I'll write it like this. Pi for this table, that means pi means select column. Now which column I want to select? Employee name and salary. So select E name, comma, salary from employee. See, the SQL relay representation is like this. whereas the relational algebra representation is like this. So please remember, select is used to select the rows from a table, whereas project is used to select the columns from the table. So how this works? Project creates a vertical partitioning. As I said, it will select the columns. To list each employee's first name and last name and salary from the table, I'll write like this. Project, last name, first name, salary from the employee. So this is how the syntax is written for selecting the columns from a relation or a table. Only remember this thing. Select will select the rows, whereas project will select the columns. That is, pi will select the columns, whereas sigma will select the rows. This again same syntax like select. We have pi, attribute list and the relation name. So whichever attributes you list here, only those are selected and rest all are ignored for me. Okay, let's work practically now, because since we are working on an online class, I'll try my best to make it good enough for you. Consider this table student, which has USN, name, age, SEM and branch. So these are 4 fields in this table. Okay. Understood what it means by select? Select will select the rows, project will select the columns. Okay. So let's work practically. Now from this table, I want to find student name and age who belongs to CS department. What it means? From this table, I want to only display the name and age. See, I want to display only these 2 columns, name and age, who belongs to CS department. That means I should select the rows. After selecting the rows, I want to select only specific rows. Right? So how can I select only specific rows? Okay, first we'll break the query. So what it does, I'll write select. What's the condition who belongs to CS department? So I'll say branch equal to CS from the table student. See, I'm trying to break it in 2 pieces. First, what I'll do is I'll select all the students who belongs to CS department. After selecting that, they want only 2 attributes, name and age. How would I write this SQL query? If you can recall it. Okay, I'll write the SQL query here directly. Select. What they have told to select me? Name and age. So select name, comma age from student where branch equal to CS. So what does this mean? It will select me the name attribute and age attribute from student whose branch is CS, the SQL query. But right now we are into the relational algebra concept, right? So I want to write the relational algebra query. So what I'll do is initially is, I know now sigma. Sigma will select the rows. So select all the rows from this table where branch equal to CS. So what happens here is, row number 1 gets selected and row number 2 gets selected for this query. So from this query, what I want, the rows are selected now. Now from those rows, I want only specific columns. How to fetch the columns? Yes, how to fetch the columns? Exactly, pi. Pi, what should I write? Name, comma, age. So pi is name, comma, age. Fine. This will select the name, comma, age. But from where? The output of this. So this can be written in 2 ways. Please remember, I'll say this as R1. Intermediate result 1. So from this intermediate result 1, what should be fetched? Name and age. So I can just write here R1 like this. Getting this? So see, probably I have written here. Or the other way, you can write like this. Pi, I'm selecting name, comma, age from the rows where the condition, that is branch equal to CS from student. Both means the same thing. You can give an intermediate name for the relation or you can write in a single set. See, Select the columns name and age from those rows where condition equal to CS. See, it is a combination of select and project. Select will select the rows and it works like the innermost query. This is executed first. It will select the first two rows. So from the first two rows only fetch the name and age attribute. Getting this? Yeah. The next one. Find the student USN and name whose age is between 18 and 21. So what they want here now? Please read out the question correctly. Find the student USN and name. So what they want from me here is, now we'll not work with the SQL part here. What they want me to select? Name and USN. So I want to select only specific columns. What's the notation for that? Yeah. Pi. Pi, what I want? USN, comma, name. Fine. I have done with the column selection. Now what I want? Those rows whose age is between 18 and 21. That means I should go to the row level now. Columns I have done. So from those, how it works? Project where age is greater than 18 and age less than 21, in that relation student. See, in a single line. This also I guess I have written here. See. First select USN and name, because the question says me select USN and name. So select the columns USN and name from this table. So name and USN are selected. But of which? From the rows where age is greater than 18 and age is less than, because they said between. So you can use the relational operators here. Attribute name is what? Age. Age greater than or equal to 18 and age less than or equal to 21 from the relation student. So how this works? Goes to this table, sees the age 21. Yes, it is greater than 18 and it is less than or equal to 21. Selected. So Amit and USN one get selected. Go for the next. 22. Is age greater than 18? True. But since it is an AND operator. And is age less than or equal to 21? No. It's 22. So true and false is a false. So this is not satisfying the condition here. It is not in the range. So ignored. Selected, ignored. Right? So this is how we can combine select and project together. Is this clear? We have one more query on this. Look at this now. Find the student name who is in 4th semester and branch is electrical. Can you give a try? Yeah. Find the student name. Okay, let's work here. What they want now? Find student name. So from all this 5 attributes, only name is to be displayed. So I'll write it as pi. Yes. What I want? Only name. So pi name. That means from the entire table only name attribute is selected. Fine. But whose name I want to select? Of the students who belongs to 4th sem and branch is electrical. Do we have anyone like that? We don't have the matching field, but my query should be written in such a way that if the condition is true, it should give me. If not, it should not display. Okay. So how should I write that now? Pi name I have written it, because now this will select the column. So from which column I want? Select the rows where the condition is matching. Pi will work at the higher level, column level, whereas select will work at the table content level. So select those rows where sem is equal to 4, just a normal Boolean operation, and branch is equal to EE from the relation student. See this, probably it is not that visible. I'll just show you in the slides itself. See, select the name, that is project. Find student name they said. So project name. column heading is selected for me. But from which? Where the condition? Where semester equal to 4 and branch equal to E from the table student. So wherever this and this matches, that rows are selected. Let's go one by one. Semester 4, yes, matching for the first row. And at the same time, the branch should be electrical. Is the branch electrical? No, ignored. Next row, semester 4, yes, and branch electrical? No. True and false is false, just like the logical gates and OR gates. Third one, semester 6, this is false, and branch is electrical? Yes, true. False and true is again a false, so that is not selected. Both the conditions should match for me, since I have said AND operator. Next one, semester 6, E. False and false is false. No matter I am not having the possible output, which is expected output, but my query should be there with me. Getting this? So this is how I write the next query. Again, find the student names whose age is more than 21 or belongs to CS branch. So directly don't start writing the query first, students. First understand the question, fetch the output, then query it. Let's work out what would be the output for me now. Find student names. So which column they are targeting? Name. So name should be displayed for me. Only names they want, okay? Whose age is more than 21. Now they are giving a condition here. The name should be, the age should be more than 21 or he should belongs to CS department. So let's see one by one. Amit, is age more than one? They are talking about more than, okay? Not equal to. Is more than 21? No, it is 21 but not more than, so false. Or he belongs to CS. So either of the conditions should be true. Both can be true, it is good only. But when it is the OR operator here, either left hand or right hand side condition should be true. Right? So first one, it's not more than 21 but he belongs to CS. Yes. So what would be my output? Amit. Go to the second row, Dilip. Is age more than 21? Yes, obviously it's 22. And he belongs to CS also. So true and true. So that also be true. So Amit and Dilip is selected. Next, Samit. Age is 21, false, and he does not belong to CS. So false and false, both are false. So Samit is not in the selection list. Supreet, age more than 21, true, or belongs to CS. He is not belonging to CS, but age is more than 21, true. So this is how you should work it out initially. Now this is what I'll get output as. Amit, Dilip and Supreet are the three students who satisfy this given condition. Now should I write a query for this relational algebra? Okay, let's work it out. I hope you're sitting the piece of paper with you. Okay, let's work it out. What they want? Student name. So name is which? They were talking about which column now? Name column. So what's the notation? Pi. Name. So this will select me name. Of which all students? The content. When you go for the content level, you go with the select operator. Headings are selected by column, which is project, and we go for the content, we always go with the select operator. So which? Select from which table? Student table. Now what is the condition they have told? Here I'll write the condition where age is more than 21 or the normal or. The gates like or, we don't have a condition or and, okay? The and get like easy people write it. Or and. No gates here, the wording and or. Or branch equal to CS. So if it is not visible there, so this is how I have written it. Project, the name, that is the column only name. From where? From those rows which satisfy this condition. Students, please remember, this should be a subscript level. I just wrote at the higher level, it should be at the subscript level, okay? Select those rows where age is more than 21 or branch equal to CS from the table student. So this is how I write select and project combine on a single table. Okay, and there is one more concept known as sequencing. If you feel difficulty writing everything in a single line, you can go with the sequencing, which would be easy for you. That also will work one by one. Same thing. Find the student name and age who belong to CS department. So this is how you are written in a single row. But if you feel difficulty writing in a single row the queries, you can go in the concept of sequencing, where you can break it. Okay. Again the query will repeat the same query. Find the student name, age who belong to CS department. Okay. So when you are writing the query, first the innermost thing should be executed. I want the student name who belong to CS department. So what I'll do is, first I'll select all those rows who belong to CS department. Right? Find the student name, age who belong to CS department. So from this table, I want Amit 21, Dilip 22. So what I'll break this is, rather than going a combination of select and project, you can always first work on select, then project. So always remember, select should work first, then project. So what I'll do is, first find the student details who belongs to CS department only. This is CS, I'll break it. So how to find the student details? That is the rows, project, where branch equal to CS from student. So what does this query output will give me? It will select all those rows from the student table who belongs to the branch CS, right? So what I can do here is, previously select project here itself. So you can give an intermediate result like this, RCS. It's, as I said, it's a relational algebra. You can give any naming conventions which is easy to understand by you. Okay. Now RCS again. What is the RCS? It's a new relation which will select only those rows whose branch is CS. So what is RCS holding here? It holds only those rows, all the rows, who belongs to CS branch. That is 2GI 15 CS 01 Amit 21 4 CS, 2GI 15 CS 04 Dilip 22 4 CS. Both are EC and mechanical. So those are ignored. So once those rows are selected, for them I give intermediate name as RCS. So RCS will hold those rows who belongs to CS. But I don't want all the student details. What they are expecting is name and age. So what does this RCS hold? The entire information. So from this entire information, I'll only fetch name and age. How it can be done? Like this. Pi name comma age from RCS, and you can give this convention as result. See, the convention is changing, students, here. Up to you. You can write in a single statement also, or you can always go with the sequencing. Sequencing is always best to get you good marks also, which will not confuse you. But please remember, when you are going with the concept of sequencing, first select works, then on that you go for project. Okay. So see how this is working. I have written it. So from the above results, just fetch name and age. How to fetch the columns? Pi. Name comma age directly from RCS now. What is RCS? It is nothing but the output of this, where the rows who belongs to CS are selected and those rows are kept in RCS, relation CS. Now from this relation CS, only fetch name and age. So how to fetch the columns? By pi. Pi name comma age in RCS. And look at the arrow notations. Okay, it is going that way. That means output of this is saved here. Output of this is saved in the result attribute. Now this is how I write it in sequencing. Up to you, both are correct enough, but this is how usually we follow it to get good marks also. Okay. Pi name and age from RCS. So from this, only name and age are selected and displayed for me, and I give it as a result. Understood? So same way, you can also work for the other queries. See here. First, select the branch CS from student and give an intermediate name CS student. Up to you. I give their RCS. Here it is mentioned as CS local student. So this will hold the student rows who belongs to CS. So from that only fetch name and age. So I know how to fetch a name columns only by pi. Pi name comma age. Now you don't have to write again this condition here. Output of this condition is saved here. So just this will be kept here, and this is nothing but your final result. Getting it? Both ways are correct. The first one which I said you, that is also correct, and the second method is also correct. On the same lines, you can work for the other queries also, which the previous one which we have solved it. Same thing in sequencing now. This one, and this one. Okay, I hope you will do this. We'll move to next now, Cartesian product. Now what is the Cartesian product? Now given two tables or two relations for me. Now we are working with the set theory operations, okay, on relational algebra. There may be a question for you like, explain the various set theory operations in relational algebra. The various operations are Cartesian product, union, intersection, and set difference. Now these are the four set theory operations which works on relational algebra. We'll study one by one. What is that? The first one is Cartesian product. Now Cartesian product is nothing but given two relations, just like matrix multiplication. The Cartesian product of two sets is a pair of elements, one from each set. If the original sets are already set of tuples, then the tuples in the Cartesian sets are bigger. That is how we multiply a matrix, same way. That is what? Table 1 into table 2. The next slide will show you how the example works. Cartesian products are usually unrelated to the real world, and they are normally contains noisy tuples. Remember we studied in SQL spurious tuples. Same thing we get here also. So look at this example here now, how the Cartesian product works. There are two tables. There is a student table and there is a department table. Now if you look at the first table, Amit belongs to CS department, Dilip belongs to EC, Sumit belongs to CS. And there is one more table where department locations are kept. CS is on third floor, EC is on first floor. So what I mean by Cartesian product is multiplying both the tables. When I say Cartesian product, it holds the columns of both the tables. Table 1 had 1, 2, 3 columns, 1, 2, 3 columns. Table 2 had 2 columns, 2 columns. So when I say Cartesian product of A and B, it consists of those number of columns which are in A plus the columns in B. Please remember that. So my Cartesian product will have how many rows? Sorry, how many columns? 5 columns. 3 from A, 2 from B. And how the product works? As similar as matrix multiplication. Look at this. 1 Amit CS. When I say product is mapped with CS third floor. CS third floor. Again the same. 1 Amit CS is mapped with the second entry now. Like a matrix. ECTF. ECTF. So done for the first row. Go for the second. 2 Dilip EC. 2 Dilip EC is now mapped with CS third floor. CS third floor. 2 Dilip EC is mapped with EC first floor. EC first floor. Similarly, we work for Sumit now. 3 Sumit CS, CS third floor. 3 Sumit CS, EC first floor. This is how I call it as a matrix multiplication or Cartesian product. That is, we say it as A cross B. This is a notation for Cartesian product. So when you go across down the line Cartesian product, you may confuse, I have missed something or like that, then follow this principle. Whenever you go for the Cartesian product, how many rows you should get is nothing but the number of rows of table A into the number of rows of table B. How many rows are here? 1, 2, 3. And how many rows are here? 2. 3 2s are 6. So Cartesian product of A cross B will have the columns as column of A plus column of B, whereas the rows, it has rows of A into rows of B. This is the formula, please remember that. So how many rows it has? 3. How many it had? 2. So 3 2s are 6. So the Cartesian product from B should have 6 rows. Verify it. If you are missing something, again go back and work it out. But if you are getting 6 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means till now your Cartesian product is correct. Okay. But see what happens in Cartesian product. Is this clear? What I mean by Cartesian product? A cross B. Elements of A are multiplied with elements of B and you get a new table like this. But look at this part. Amit belongs to CS. So what's the location? Third floor. This row will give me a valid answer. He is CS and the department is CS. It belongs to third floor. But look at the next row. Amit, his department is CS, but this row is mapped with EC, which is first row. So CS is not matching EC. That means this row is a noisy row. CS. They contain the noisy tuples. So unrelated tuples are called as noisy tuples. So similarly, Dilip, he belongs to EC, but here I am getting CS. EC, CS. Mismatch, so noisy row. EC, EC, correct. CS, CS, correct. CS, EC, noisy. So whenever we go for a Cartesian product, we get a new table, but we come across the noisy rows also. This is called as Cartesian product of A cross B. Next is union, just like what we studied in our school days. The set theory operation, union, intersection and all. Same goes here, but some of the rules to be followed. Two tables are set and perform a union. So as we all know now, set 1, set 2. What is union? Elements of A are combined with elements of B, where repeated elements are taken only once. Just like the concept of set theory. Table 1, union table 2, or we can use the operator U for union. Okay. This operation is impossible unless both tables involved have same schema. Please remember that. Both tables should have same attribute convention. Then only you can work with union. If the attribute conventions are different, you cannot work with union. For example, assume that there is a table here which has roll number and name, and there is one more table here, roll number and name. So in this case, this is table 1, table 2. In this case, union is possible because both the tables have same schema. Two attributes, same attributes. But if I am having a table like this, roll number, name, I'll say it as T3, and I'm having one more table, department number, D location, T4. Now in this case, we cannot perform a union operation. For union to be performed, both tables should have same attribute conventions. Okay, please remember this. With the example I can explain. Okay, why they should have? Because both rows from both tables must fit into a single answer table, hence they must look alike. Look at that. Roll number name, looking alike, they'll fit in a single table. But look at the other, roll number name, department and location, they are not alike. So union works on the tables which looks alike and have same number of attributes. Okay, this is how the union works. Now see, for example, there is a table, there are some suppliers who supply some parts for me. I'll come across a scenario where there is a table where supplier supplies some parts for me. So from that, there may be a supplier who can supply both the parts. Yes, there may be a table who can supply both the parts. Assume that now for this table there is supplier who can supply part number P1 and supplier who can supply part number P2. Union works with OR also, intersection works with AND also. Please remember that. You can always go with the OR operation or union operation. So what you can do is, I want to know the people who supply part 1, part 2 or both. So that time what I can do is, first I'll write the SQL query, relational algebra, select the serial number of the rows who sell part P1. So I'll get the supplier number who sell part P1. On similar lines, I'll get the supplier details who supply part P2. So this is supplier who supplies S1, this is the suppliers who supply S2. But there may be a scenario where there are some suppliers who supply both. True? So when you come across the conditions like this, you can always go with union. So what it does here is, first fetch out the details who supplies part 1 separately, fetch out the details who supplies part 2 differently, and please remember, whenever you are applying union, both should look alike. Yes, both have same attribute, single attribute, single same attribute. Then you can apply union. See, part 1 supplier, union part 2 supplier. So when I do this union, what happens, it means is, all the elements of set 1 and all the elements of set 2 are selected with the condition that whichever is repeating is displayed only once. Now see, S1, S2, S3, S4. S4 is common here, but at the output it is displayed only once. So please remember, union is used when we are selecting for more than one condition. Okay, red or black, blue or orange, who works in CS department, who works in IS department. When the condition comes like this, or and all, we always go with the union operator. Getting it how it works? Rather than combining a single, you can break it. Find the first half of the query, who supplies P1. Find the second half of the query, who supplies P2. Now we know this. Output of this is saved in part 1, output of this is stored in part 2. So what is the output of this? This. Output of this is this. Now from this I want all, because the query says that who supplies either part 1 or part 2. There may be a supplier who supplies only part 1. S1 and S3 are the people who supplies exclusively part 1. S2 is the person who supplies exclusively part 2. But S4 is the one supplier who supplies part 1 as well as part 2. Right? So in that case, you can always go with the union operator. Part 1 supplier, union part 2 suppliers. So when I do a union on this, elements of set A and elements of set B are displayed in the output with the condition that the common element is displayed only once. This is called as union operator. Clear with this? Similarly for books, you go to library. Yeah, take this example now. You go to library. Since your open electives are going on now, some person will borrow a book from mechanical and some person will borrow a book from CS. Now as a librarian wants to know who are the people who have borrowed either books from CS or EC, or CS or mechanical. Since you are working on that open elective, it may so happen that you are the one who has selected mechanical also or CS also. Right? So in that case, the librarian, what he does is, he first finds out the people who have selected the books from mechanical. Then he will try to find out the people who have borrowed the books for CS. It may so happen that there may be a common person who is borrowing both the books. Then what he'll do is, he'll find out the people who have borrowed mechanical books separately. He'll find out the people who have borrowed CS books separately. Then he'll do union on that. So once you do a union, all elements of set A and all elements of set B are displayed with the condition that common element is displayed only once. Getting this? Yes? Okay. Simple example now. This is how I have taken the union example. This is set S1, set S2. So when I do union of this, please remember, whenever union is done, it is done only on the basis of same schema. That means it should have same number of attributes and same attributes also. See, S1 has SID, SName, rating, age, SID, SName, rating, age. So when I do union of this two, same attributes, yes, so union is correct. We can apply. So what is union? S1 union S2. S1 union S2 will consist of all those rows from S1 as well as from S2 with the condition that common elements is displayed only once. Now look at this. There is somebody common. Yeah. Luber and Rusty. Number 31 and 58 are common. So while writing the union, we will not write it twice. We will write the only one instance of it. Getting it? Elements of set A, elements of set B, and the common elements are written only once. This is how I do it, union operation. Intersection as similar as union, but only the common part is taken, not all. The elements which belongs to both the sets is taken. Just like, please remember, union works with OR operator, intersection works with and operator. Yeah, that is what it's, the notation is same, table 1 intersection table 2. Again the same thing. Now see here, given two tables S1 and S2, and when I say intersection, intersection means from both the tables there will be one row which is common in both the tables, and only that common row has to be displayed in the output. The same example I have taken, S1 intersection S2. So when I say intersection, it displays me only those rows which are common in both the tables. So which are those? 22, Dustin, 745. If this is in the output list, this row should be available here also. Is it available? No. 31, Luber, 855. Yes, 31, Luber, 855. So this is the row which is common in both the tables. So the row which is common in both the tables is nothing but the output of the intersection. Next, 58, Rusty. 58, Rusty is here. So this is in the output list. 44, Guppy, it's not here. So intersection will select only those rows which are common in both the tables. In simple words, I can tell you students, union works with OR operator, intersection works with AND operator. You can either use union or OR operator, you can use intersection or AND operation, up to you. The same example now. If at all I want the people or the suppliers who supplies both the parts, part 1 and part 2. So what I will do is, first I will select the employees, suppliers who supplies part 1. Then I will select the suppliers who supplies part 2. Now from this, I want to find out there should be a supplier who supplies both the parts. See, S1 supplies part 1, S3 part 1, S4 part 1, S2 part 2, S4 part 2. So there is a supplier S4 is the one who supplies both S1 as well as part 1 as well as part 2. So he should be in the output list. Getting it? What I mean by intersection? It's nothing but the common element. From both the results, only common elements are fetched and displayed, is nothing but the intersection operator. Similarly for borrows also. See, only common elements are displayed for me. 1325 is 1325 here, yes. So that will be in the output list. 2653, 2653 in the output list. 7635, 7635 in the output list. 9823, 9823 in the output list. That means these are the people who have already borrowed also as well as reserved the books also. Whenever the words like AND comes, we always go with intersection. Whenever the word OR comes, we go with union. And the last one is set difference. Please remember, we are studying set theory operations in relational algebra. The first one is Cartesian product, which is nothing but A cross B. Next one is union, which selects the rows from table 1 as well as table 2, and common elements are displayed only once. Next is intersection, which means that table 1 and table 2, only common elements from both the tables are displayed. And the last one is set difference. So set difference, again the same concept works on set difference also. When you are working on set difference, both tables should have the same naming convention. And how the set difference one is nothing but the minus operator, okay? I will show you the example here itself. Set difference. Given two sets S1 and S2. Given two sets S1 and S2. So here again you can just see. Given two sets S1 and S2. S1 minus S2. See here, I am shown two different ways also. S1 minus S2 as well as S2 minus S1. So S1 minus S2 consists of those rows which belongs to S1 but not to S2. Set difference A minus B consists of all those rows that belongs to A but not to B. Okay. Same thing here. See, this is S1, this is S2. We are working with S1 minus S2. So how S1 minus S2 works is, it consists of all those rows of S1. 22, 31, 58. All these rows. But with the condition that those rows should not be available in S2. If they are available, you should not include it. Now see this. 22, is 22 available here? The entire row? No. So 22 will be in your output list. Next comes 31 Luber. Is 31 Luber here? If it is available, it should not be included in the output list. Next is 58 Rusty. 58 Rusty is here. So S1 minus S2 consists of those rows that only belong to S1 but not to S2. Now see this row, and this is a minus operator. 22 Dustin 745 is the only row which belongs to S1 but not to S2. On similar lines, S2 minus S1. Now this is S2 minus S1. It consists of those rows, yeah, that belong only to S2 but not to S1. Go one by one now. 28 Yeppy. Is it here? No. So 28 Yeppy will be in the output list. So this is the row which belongs only to S2 but not to S1. Next one, 31 Luber is there. So ignore it. 44 Guppy, it's not there. So 44 Guppy is included here. And the last one is 58 Rusty is here. So don't include it. So set difference works with the concepts like who either, for all the students, for every and all. When such word comes, either studies in all department and all, then we can always go with the concept of set difference. Understand how the set difference works? Set difference of S1 minus S2 includes only those rows that belongs to S1 but not to S2. And on the similar lines, S2 minus S1 is those rows that belongs to S2 but not to S1. This is nothing but a set difference. S2 minus S1. Getting? And please remember, S1 minus S2 is not similar to S2 minus S1. Please remember this concept like anything. Okay? Is this clear, students? I hope today we have covered what is union. Sorry, we started with select. Select will select the rows. Project will select the columns. Yes? Whenever you want to select the rows, we go with the sigma operator. Whenever you want to fetch the columns, we go with the pi operator. After that, we studied about simple queries. How everything can be combined in a single, or we can go with the sequencing of queries. Then next we studied about set theory operations. Yes, set theory operations. Which are those? Cartesian product. Okay. So in Cartesian product, how many rows I get? The number of rows of table 1 into number of rows of table 2. And how many columns I get? Columns of 1, table 1 plus columns of table 2. Then we study union, which select the rows from both the tables and common rows are written only once. Intersection, from both the tables only common elements are fetched, rest all are ignored. Set difference is nothing but A minus B. When I say A minus B, it consists of only those rows which belongs to A but not to B. Similarly lines, when I say B minus A, it consists of those rows that belongs to B but not to A. Is this clear? So this is all about set difference. So the example, same thing I have written here. Next is join. Now since there are problem with the Cartesian product, there is a next concept which is known as join and division. We will take in the next class. For any doubts in this, I have already shared the PPTs. For still any doubts in this, you can always reach to me to my mail ID or through the WhatsApp group. Okay? Thank you for the day. Thank you.